Caleb Williams, Drake Maye. Obviously, that is the game this week. As usual, I was watching my Mike Greenberg Get Up program on ESPN, and they turned to this Caleb Williams conversation and the Chicago Bears and how already the Chicago Bears might be ruining Caleb Williams. As I listened to the conversation, it had me thinking about here and Drake Maye. It also, well, I think an obvious jumping off point this week is Caleb Williams or Drake Maye and a head-to-head matchup, etc. So let me just start with this. Who'd you rather have, Mazz, Caleb Williams or Drake Maye?
Drake Maye.
Why?
Because I like the size, first of all. One thing about Caleb Williams that I have noticed, I meant to bring this up in a prior, he is small. He's small. Like, it's alarming how small he looks on the screen sometimes. So that worries me a little bit. And makeup. I mean, I'm really coming around on Maye's makeup, and I say coming around on it. There was no reason for me to question it before. There was with Caleb Williams. But the more I see Maye, the more I like Maye, and I mean that as a leader, not just as a quarterback. So he's got size. He has an arm. He can run. He has good leadership qualities. I think that Williams has more raw talent. But I would take Drake Maye. I would. Knowing what we know now, I would take Drake Maye.
Yeah, based on what I've seen, I would go Drake Maye over Caleb Williams. And, I had a bias against Caleb Williams going into it because of crying in mommy's arms, what I looked at as a lack of leadership skills when he was at UNC. And I think you're starting to see that with the Bears. I watched this game against the Cardinals this past Sunday in that 4 window, and a lot of bad body language from him, And so I think that hasn't changed. I think that's probably going to get worse as things continue to evolve there. It's crazy that this conversation is now happening I feel like on a national standpoint, talking about him this way after 2 bad losses. It feels like it's already gone the other way for him this quickly. Ever since that Hail Mary and they lose against Washington, it's like the whole thing's imploded for him. And so I don't know. Like, I'm basing it a lot on what I watched last week against Arizona, but maybe people have seen more. But just on that alone, the leadership quality and the size thing, too, because Drake Maye 6'4", Caleb Williams 6'1", that's not as important to me, but the leadership thing is, and I think Drake Maye has already shown that in spades.
So what you saw on Sunday in that game, Jim, do you think that's more Caleb Williams or more the Bears? More the Bears being the Bears, or this was destined to happen to Caleb Williams because
it's definitely a bad spot. That's a dumb team that they feel like, destined to ruin any quarterback that they draft, whether it is Trubisky, Fields, whoever. So, yeah, I think part of it might be a Bears thing, and they hate that coach. They never should have brought him back in the first place. So maybe he's destined to fail because of where he got drafted.
It really, I think these things hit on what we've been talking about. I think since it was clear the Patriots were drafting a quarterback and the whole role of the quarterback and just this whole philosophical thing about if you draft the right quarterback, nothing else matters, you're all set. And I just think people take it too far. But we've been debating this, right? Like, it's just about if you get the guy, then everything else falls into place and he rises all boats, and that's all you need, and that's the only thing that matters about this year for the Patriots. It's the only thing that matters for any organization is drafting the guy, and then everything else falls into place. And that's all that matters. And again, I think there is I think the surroundings matter more than some people give it credit for. That's all. It is, the quarterback is the most important thing. But if the coaching isn't right, if the surrounding cast isn't right, it's not all going to come together. I don't care how special you are.
Caleb Williams and the Bears are a bad match.
So this is why I'm asking. Is it Caleb Williams or is it the Bears? Or are they in that regard sort of a perfect match?
Exactly. Bad match.
Or bad match.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
No, I think they're a bad match. If you're going to take a guy like Caleb Williams, ideally you would want him to be with a franchise that has some sort of culture so they can teach him it. And that's hard when you have the number 1 pick in the draft. But to me, I think you would rather have a franchise that has some sort of pedigree, bringing quarterbacks along, some culture of winning and how to act and professionalism and all that sort of stuff. Because with Williams, Murray's right. It was there with Williams from the beginning. You could see it in college. He needed to go somewhere where they were going to emphasize to him, this is a priority. You can't have bad body language and you can't act like a pill.
Okay, but again, there's been plenty of elite quarterbacks that have gone to garbage situations and risen them. Obviously, you'd say Josh Allen right now, but Tom Brady here. I mean,
Jaden Daniels with Washington currently.
Jaden Daniels with Washington is doing it as we speak. No doubt about it. Garbage organization, right. I'm not going to say that about Patrick Mahomes, because as much as you want to now tell me I thought Andy Reid sucked, Andy Reid was always a good coach. He was a playoff coach without Patrick Mahomes. He became a Super Bowl winner with Patrick Mahomes. But without him, he was still a good offensive coach and a playoff coach. So I don't think Patrick Mahomes falls into that category. But that's my point, that the reason the Chiefs are the Chiefs is because it's Patrick Mahomes being supported by Andy Reid. And it just brings me all around back here. You know, as I listen to this get-up conversation, it's like the Bears are going to ruin Caleb Williams. And how are they going to ruin Caleb Williams? Jim, would you just pick up, Jimmy Stewart, would you just pick up the conversation number 2 if you could, please?
I mean, that's a big statement, but it's something I've been saying. It's finally a more credible person, a football person than me saying it, but this is exactly what I've been saying. This combination of not marrying up your coach with his new quarterback makes no sense. Yep. Now you're looking at the possibility or the likelihood of another change. So he's going to be exactly as happened to Trubisky and as exactly it happened to Justin Fields. He'll go into his second year with a new coach, with a new offense. And Dan, you can explain much better than I can. New verbiage, new stuff, all that kind of thing. It's almost like starting over again completely. And they continue to do this no matter how obvious it is that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this is that's the concern in Chicago is if we're being realistic, is the staff that is in place there right now the best that's for Caleb moving forward? And I think after 9 or 10 games, you sit there and that answer's no. You sit there and you watch Jaden Daniels and his constant ascension this year. If we're being honest, you're watching Drake Maye and his ascension. If we're being honest, you're watching Bo Nix play better in his ascension performance-wise.
Yes, there's no
and the
question.
3 rookie quarterbacks that have played, you've watched them all play better for the majority of the season and get better for the majority of their season. And that's where Chicago is stuck right now, because that's a good football coach. Is there a good staff? Is it the best for Caleb after 9 games? I think it's hard to say yes.
Okay, so I found it interesting. They were putting the Patriots and Drake Maye in that category of getting it right and surrounding them with good coaching. And I think that's a reach. So, if I were facilitating, I would say, are you worried that the Pats are about to do to Drake Maye what the Bears are doing to Caleb Williams? But let me just cut to the chase. I'm worried that the Patriots are going to become the Bears and do to Drake Maye what the Bears might be doing to Caleb Williams. Or maybe you think Caleb Williams was never the guy and it's not the Bears' problem. So subtopic, but certainly those get-up guys are treating it like Caleb Williams is the man and the Bears are ruining him. Well, let me tell you, I'm worried about the exact same thing here in New England. Because I don't think Gerard Mayo is the right guy for this time, for this team. I never believed in Alex Van Pelt. I don't think they did either. That's why he was their 12th guy that they had in. And I think they are in danger of Chicago bearing up their entire rookie quarterback thing. That's my thought. 617-779-0985. So, Murray, the fact that you would take Drake Maye over Caleb Williams, does that mitigate your feeling about winning those games late last year? In other words...
Oh, no, because I still want Jaden Daniels. Because right now, Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal out of all of them, all of the quarterbacks that went in that first round.
Are we sure that Drake Maye is all that much better than Caleb Williams in the first place?
No.
I mean, Caleb Williams right now, here...
the stats are similar.
Yeah, right. I'll go old-fashioned quarterback rating, or passer rating. I still like the passer rating stat. I like it. I think it rewards efficient quarterbacks. So if we go by passer rating, Drake Maye, I just had it, ranks 26th in the NFL, 85.1 is his passer rating. He's 26. Caleb Williams is right behind. I'm sorry, Caleb Williams is just why is this like that? He's just behind him at 83. Okay. So Drake Maye does have better numbers than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has really trailed off in his last however many games. Against Arizona this game, you saw Murray, 22 of 41, 53%, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But he has trailed off after he had a big game against Jacksonville. couple weeks ago, he's come back and done very little against Washington, and then at Arizona. So he's sort of trailed off.
Yeah, I mean, that game in London against the Jags, it was like, oh, holy crap. Like, this is what everyone thought he was going to be. And he's dipped tremendously the last couple of games.
So Jacksonville's like one of the worst pass defenses in the league, though, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, so, I mean, maybe we put a little too, and I'm not saying he didn't play well because he did. You still have to do it. But, maybe it was inflated a little bit because of who they were playing. But even so, he's in a bad spot. Eberflus is a defensive guy, too, right?
So this is the weird subplot to this is that on paper, Caleb Williams has an offensive coordinator that I would look at and say, well, I'd want this guy because it's this Shane Waldron who had worked with McVay when he first got to the Rams. He had been a quarterbacks coach, had been a passing game coordinator. He's been a real offensive coordinator before, actually calling plays when he was with the Seahawks a couple of years ago. It feels like that should be working. So I see that. But then again, there were some breakdowns from this Arizona game. They're like, look at these concepts. Like the coach has no idea what he's doing. So maybe he's a hammerhead too. But I don't know. I start to look at that and maybe this is more on Williams because you have a real guy, it feels like, at OC.
So that is a guy that I would have wanted the Patriots to go get.
I'd rather have him than Alex Van Pelt, again, just based on the resume.
But Shane Waldron is one of the guys that passed on the New England Patriots. They brought him in, and they didn't come together. They lost him to the Bears. I don't know if they offered him the job or not. Felt like they were close, or they would have. I mean, he was here previously. He was
a million years ago, right?
Yeah, he was a tight ends coach in 2009 here. And before that, a quality control assistant in 2008. So he had been through here. He does have the pixie dust of McVay and that thing. He was in L.A. for a while. He served as an offensive coordinator in Seattle. And it's sort of like that, to me, felt like a much better guy than Alex Van Pelt, someone that you lost out on because either you didn't want to pay him or he didn't want to be here or some combination of both. And that's one of the guys I've hammered the Patriots with, hammer them over the head with, is this guy. They hate him in Chicago. They want to fire him.
They hate his guts.
So maybe he wasn't the guy. Or maybe he is, and Caleb Williams is just a putz.
Could be.
So that sort of muddies up the topic a little bit, which I usually don't like.
Can I ask one more question?
Yep.
How's the Bears' offensive line?
Oh, so it's supposed to be
trash.
Bad.
Okay, so this is the other thing. That's a big one.
But they have pass catchers.
Yeah, they do.
They got, never mind the tight end. They DJ Moore, Odunze, the rookie, Allen.
Keenan Allen, yeah.
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore.
Yeah, they got receivers.
Who can play Komet, the tight end. They got good skill position people.
No,
Much
that's
better
for
than
sure.
what the Patriots have.
Right, but I'm just one of these people that believes that, you don't draft Marvin Harrison Jr. because if you don't have a line, what difference is it going to make? So, I put that first, and then I just think it's an important thing. That's all. The offensive line play in front of these two guys blows, and I'm talking about Maye and Williams now. So, I don't know if Waldron's a good offensive coordinator or not, but I think it's hard to be when you can't block.
So that is the question. The people are already worried that the Chicago Bears are bearing the Caleb Williams draft pick. I'm concerned the Patriots are going to Chicago Bears Drake Maye. Are you?
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.